Hello everyone and welcome back to a mod showcase where this time I'm talking about a mod that will literally completely change the performance of your game for the better. Now this mod has had a little bit of controversy about it and I will talk about that in a second, but let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about AOEngine. Now AOE stands for Anomaly Optimized Engine and it does exactly what it is saying. It is insane. Now the mod DB page says it'll give you anywhere between 15% to 200% performance in large mod packs, and I have literally seen that for some people with certain hardware configurations. So I would recommend always trying this mod out just to see how much it helps you. Now, personally, it took me a long time to try out this mod because I was like, oh, well, I have a good computer, so the game runs really well. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference, but I was completely wrong. Now, for those who don't know, I have a 9800 X3D, 64 gigs of RAM, and a 4070 Ti Super, so I assumed it wasn't going to make that big of a difference. But as soon as I installed AOEngine, immediately, before I would be getting like between 90 to 100 FPS while streaming, I now consistently get 140, and when I'm not streaming, I get more like 180. In some locations, it's even as high as 200. Jupiter used to be a stuttery mess for me, now runs completely and perfectly smooth. It is insane. Now, one of the ways AOEngine is able to accomplish this is by being multi-threaded. That's right. So if you didn't know, Anomaly only uses one CPU core, but with AOEngine, it now uses 4. Now, one more thing before we get into the install guide. Whatever you do not ask for help in the Gamma Discord about AOEngine no matter what. Grok has banned AOEngine in the Discord, and it's not because it's malicious or anything, but because Grok does not support closed source projects. When I got back from my trip to France, I was so confused about AOEngine because so many people were basically saying things about it that weren't true. I personally messaged Grok and asked him why exactly AOEngine was banned from the Discord because I was wondering whether there was something malicious about it, but no, it was specifically because Grok does not support open or closed source projects, and I ask you to respect his decision. So please, do not ask for support in the Gamma Discord. If you're going to ask for help for anything, please ask it in the AOEngine Discord. Please respect Grok's wishes. All right, enough blabbering. Let's go into the installation guide and make sure to follow along closely. That way you definitely set this up correctly. All right, so there's two different ways to download this mod. Either you can go to the mod DB page, which will be linked down in the video description, or you can go to the AOEngine Discord, which will also be linked down in the video description. So now it's time to do something called reading. I know a lot of you can't do this based off of the comments, so please follow along very carefully. What you're going to do is, first of all, back up the bin folder. You want to do this just in case you have any problems going forward. Then you're going to extract the new bin folder that you downloaded. Afterwards, you're going to delete your shader cache, and that is it. But there is two really important things that you're going to want to do, which is if you are using Mod Organizer 2, which a majority of you are, I'm assuming, you are going to want to be very careful with how you launch the game. Otherwise, AOEngine will not actually work. All right, so we're going to click download now, and we're going to wait a few seconds. Now go ahead and save this to your downloads folder. It doesn't really matter where you save it. All right, so ignore the fact that I have two anomaly folders. This is because I actually have two instances of Gamma, but what you're going to want to do is find your anomaly folder, and you'll know you found the right folder because once you open it, you should have the anomaly launcher, your bin, which has all of this in it, and you'll know this is the correct one. All right, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to right-click, copy, and then normally what I do is I make a new folder just called backup. So there we go, type in backup, and I'm just going to paste it right in there. Now we have our entire bin folder backed up. So go back, go into bin, and now make sure you have your AOEngine download open. And as you're going to see, it only has Anomaly DX11. You're just going to grab all this, copy it, go to your bin, and paste it in here. That's all you're going to do. And you should have this new Anomaly DX11. And as you can see, the icon is actually different from all the other anomalies. And this is very important. So now just open up Mod Organizer 2, and you're going to notice something. If you click right here, you're going to see that one of these has a different icon. You're going to want to click on this and then launch the game through this. Or if you use the Anomaly Launcher, for example, let's go ahead and click Run. With the Anomaly Launcher, you're going to want to make sure you're on DirectX 11 and uncheck the AVX CPU support. This does not work with AOEngine. And now there's two ways to verify that AOEngine is working. First of all, when you click play the game, this should appear right here. This loading screen should appear. If this appears, first of all, should be good with AOEngine. Now, the second way to check requires you to load into the game, so let's really quickly load in. All right, now the second way to confirm whether AOEngine is working is you should notice that while you're in game, your CPU is actually using more cores than before. Now, before, what would happen is this CPU core 0 was the only one being utilized, but now, as you can see, multiple of my cores are being utilized, specifically 4 of them. I do not believe it uses more than 4. Now, you might also remember a trick that people used to use, which is disabling core 0. That way it would run on core 1, and that would typically give people better performance. You do not want to use that with AOEngine. Make sure it is using all your cores, including core 0. So in order to confirm this, what you're going to want to do is click on this tab right here, go to Anomaly DX11, right-click, click Set Affinity, and make sure all CPU cores are checked. You do not want CPU core 0 unchecked like before. And there you go. As long as you follow those instructions, AOEngine should be running perfectly fine. Now, this is going to really depend on your hardware. Some people, as mentioned on the ModDB page, only will see a 15% increase. Some will see a 200% increase, but overall, you should see an increase. Now, the main people who are going to see a huge FPS increase are people who had a ton of GPU headroom. So for example, before, back when I used to play Gamma without AOEngine, I would only be utilizing about 40% of my GPU. As you can see now, 9288. And the reason it's able to use way more of my GPU is before it was being held back by the CPU. The CPU literally, because it was only using one core, could not process enough information for my GPU to be able to really stretch its legs. But now that it uses 4 cores, as you can see, my GPU is really being utilized. Now, one of the cool things that AOEngine allows you to do is actually finally turn up grass density. One thing that I always recommended people to never do is turn up grass density because it was such an FPS killer. What people used to recommend was keep grass density low, but turn up the size of the grass because the size didn't used to affect your FPS by much. And so the game would still look full of grass, but it wouldn't be that big of a performance hit. But now, honestly, I can turn up grass density a ton. So as an example, I'm just going to turn it up all the way here. I would never recommend ever going past this section before, but now turn it all the way up here, click apply, and there we go. Look, you can tell how much fuller the grass is, and I am running perfectly fine, perfectly good. If I wasn't recording right now too, I would have probably about 10, 15 more FPS. It is insane, the settings that you can now push to because of AOEngine. All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope AOEngine helped you out a lot. Peace.